The reason why a lot of brands started to see a huge decrease in return on ad spend after Meta released Andromeda and Gem is because they didn't know how to adapt and analyze and optimize ads based on the way that this new algorithm works. In fact, the way that you analyze and optimize ads now after Andromeda and Gem is different from what you've been doing in basically 2025 before Meta released this algorithm. And in this video, I will show you exactly the system that we use in our agency to analyze and optimize ads on Meta post Andromeda, the same system that we use to generate the results that you see right now in the screen even after Andromeda was released. And we spend millions every month for our clients in ads, especially on Meta, so we know exactly what we're talking about, and in this video I will show you exactly the system that we basically use. The first thing that you must do is making sure that the foundations are there, and the foundations to take the right decision when it comes to analysis is making sure that the data are correct. And so you need to make sure that the actual tracking is correct, you're tracking the events properly, and you have an event match quality above at least 9, especially for your main event, which in this case, if you're running ads for an e-commerce brand, should be purchase. So what you want to do, you basically want to go to your events manager, then you want to go to datasets, then you need to select basically the pixel, the dataset related to your specific brand in this case, and then you want to scroll down and making sure that for purchase you have at least 9. Of course, you want to make sure that also the event match quality is high for the other events as well, because the more information Meta has, the more precise will be the targeting, and of course the information that the algorithm gets when it comes to improve the targeting and overall return on the ad spend. But since you're optimizing the ads for purchases, the match quality for this event must be as high as possible, because it's just going to give Meta better understanding of who is actually converting. The second thing that you need to do is understand how to actually structure the columns within the ads manager, and let me show you exactly how I do it for the brands that I manage. As you can see, guys, we have the campaign, we have the delivery. Then what I like to do, I want to make sure that my purchases, return on ad spend, cost per purchase, budget, and amount spent are the first column. And so after this, I basically think like a funnel, and then the way that I structure the columns is basically impressions, because I want to understand how many impressions the ads are getting, their reach, and then the frequency, so I can understand how many times each customer is actually seeing my ad. Then I want to have the CPM, link clicks, click-through rate, the hold rate. Then you have the scroll stopper, which is basically the first 3 seconds video plays divided by the number of impressions. Then you have the cost per click, the website landing page, the add to cart, the cost per add to cart, checkout initiated, cost per checkout initiated, purchase, cost per purchase, partial conversion value, average order value, and return on the ad spend. These are the main metrics that you want to see, because these are the metrics that we're going to use in order to understand and to analyze and optimize our ads. Now, post Meta Andromeda and Gem, you need to interpret your data in a different way compared to before, because as you probably know, and if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you now, Gem, which is the system behind Andromeda, distribute content based on a sequence. So what Gem does, optimize the ads delivering sequence and not the single ad. And so the sequence is gonna be something that you need to think when you optimize your ads, because what you want to do, you don't want to just optimize for the winning ad, but you want to optimize for the winning sequence. And let me actually give you some examples. So let's say we have this campaign here, and in this campaign we have one single ad set, and then inside this single ad set we have around 30 ads. As you can see here in this month, we have some specific numbers, and if you filter by amount spent, you will see that most of the budget, not all the budget, but most of the budget is going towards one specific creative. But again, as you can see, we spent 5K, 5.8K this month, and 1.2K went towards one creative. Then 900, 800, 700. So the budget is distributed properly across the different ads, because when we create ads thinking like a journey, and so Meta distributes the budget accordingly towards different type of creatives. And so what you want to do here, if you have the top ads with a low return ad spend compared to the second spending ads, like in this case, you absolutely don't want to turn the first ads off, because if you turn off these first ads, you will see the overall return ad spend of the other ads also will decrease, because this ad here that Meta is pushing the most is the budget that is getting a lot rich, and so is the ads that is pushing a lot towards top of funnel compared to the other ads. And this ads is the ads that is bringing new people inside the sequence that then are targeted by the other ads. Now the fourth thing is basically understand the logic behind turning off ads, because I see a lot of people turning off ads even if when they should not be turned off. When it comes to understanding performance, what you want to look at, you want to judge by incremental attribution. Incremental attribution is a very important metric that tells you the number of purchases that happen thanks to Meta. And so it's the most accurate way to actually see the attribution, because Meta uses usually a 7-day click, 1-day view, or 7-day click depending on how you set up the attribution. But if you look at the incremental attribution, it's going to tell you exactly what is the incremental attribution coming from that specific creative that would have happened otherwise. And as you can see instantly here is that the highest incremental attribution, guys, is coming from the first creative, which is the creative that has a lower ROAS compared to the second creative, but the second creative has a lower incremental attribution. And so what I want to do, I want to make sure that this ad stays active, because if this ad is the ad that is bringing me incremental attribution, if I turn this off, then the rest of the ads also will decrease in performance, and the overall ad account will basically die, right? What I actually like to do to clean things up, I like to filter by active ads, because as you can see there are some inactive ads in here. So what I do, I go here and then I do ad delivery is active, so I can basically filter by all the active ads, and so I can have a more clean view of the ads, of the current active ads that I have inside the ad account. So what I'm going to do right now is basically just understand what is going on in the last 7 days. And as you can see, guys, there is this ad specifically that in the last 7 days is pushing especially towards incremental attribution compared to the other ads. Now, something very important to mention is that these two ads has a very low incremental attribution. So these two ads, I might turn them off quite soon. And if I turn off this creative, I might give chance to the other creative to spend more budget. If your budget is low compared to the number of creatives that you have, you will end up like this, having some creative with a very low ad spend, like $0.1, like 0.01, 0.05 and everything. In this case, this ad specifically, it worked very bad in the last 7 days. Both ROAS are actually bad. In the last 4 days, 1.27, both ROAS are actually bad. And then in the last 2 days, we have actually 0 purchases. So what I want to do in this case, I can basically turn this off. And finally, the fifth thing that you need to understand is how to actually reallocate ads budget. So what we like to do, we like to increase the ad budget by 20-30% every 2-3 days under normal circumstances. So not if we are like in Black Friday, this kind of period. In this period, you can even increase the ad spend by doubling it, or just by 3x. If you want, okay? And sometimes we do it. We go from 100 to 500. And the thing is that, okay, for one day, maybe the performance are not great, meaning that we go from a 4x to a 2x. Then in the next days, the performance will improve. And Meta is quite fast. It's not like Google. Like 3-4 days, the performance can be improved a lot within Meta, because the learning happen very fast, especially if you increase the budget. Now, when it comes to budget allocation, what you need to understand is that you basically want to decrease the budget from those creatives where you see a very low incremental attribution or based like on your KPIs, and then you want to reallocate the spend towards other creatives. So what I've done, for instance, today, I have decreased the budget from this specific campaign here that, as you can see, has a very low incremental attribution, 0.20, and I have increased the budget towards this specific campaign here that actually has a very good return on ad spend with a very good incremental attribution return on the ad spend. And so what I did, I basically decreased this one by $20, and I have increased this by $20 as well. The highest amount of budget is spent toward this campaign here that has almost the highest return on the ad spend compared to the other ads, right? So if this one has like a 100 spend and the low ROAS, the impact of this specific campaign towards the overall ad account ROAS is not gonna have a huge impact. That's why what you want to do, you want to make sure that the ads or the campaign with the highest return on ad spend is the campaign with the highest budget. A lot of people actually don't do that, because I see a lot of ad accounts that are spending more money into testing rather than scaling or, you know, the best performing campaign. And the thing is that it's okay for you. Like if we compare these two campaigns here, this one has a 500 spent a day and this is 120. It makes sense because this one has a 2x ROAS with a 500 a day. This one here, that by the way increased in the last couple of days, has a 2.90 but a 120. So if we increase the spending, most likely the return on spend will go down. Okay, so we need to, that's why we do this 2-3 days, 20-30%, because we want to understand how things are going. Okay, that's basically it for this video, guys. If you have any question, feel free to let me know in the comment. I'll do my best, of course, to answer everyone as usual. And remember to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video.